What's up guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make beats like Ginseng for artists like Pretty Fun. Let's get straight into the video. So first we're going to be in 150 BPM, and now let's get right into the melody. I use Serum for all the layers in this beat, and I'll show you each one as we go. So first we have this layer which sounds like this. And you're really going to just want some happy type of synths for this, and happy 808s, but I'll show you what that means once we get to the drums portion later on in the video. And in terms of mixing for this layer, all I did was cut out the lows with this EQ, which is something I did on all the melodies in this beat. That's it. It's pretty simple. Then moving on, this is the next Serum I have, which sounds like this. And once again, I've cut out the lows, but I also have a shaper box on this as well. Here's the preset. And then moving on to the next layer, this one sounds like this. And I did a little bit more mixing on this one. I first added a reverb here, then my low cut, and then added delay, as you guys could hear, and finally this last EQ to just shape the sound a bit more to my liking. Now moving on to the next layer, we have this one. It's kind of like a lead type of thing, pretty simple. Once again, only mixing is just this EQ, and that's it. And then next up we have this layer, which sounds like this. It's pretty simple. It's basically just the same thing twice, except on the second time it plays, I've just removed this first note here. It's just a little annoying, screechy type of thing. But one thing that is notable about this synth is that I use these kind of slide notes right here, which you can just do on Serum by turning up your portamento and then making, of course, your synth mono. And you're going to want to have these slide note types of sounds in these Pretty Fun, just pink noise type beats in general. Yeah. And now, moving on to the next layer of the melody, we have this sound. And then once again, it's just a pretty simple 2-bar loop, kind of a lead type of sound. And again, we just have this low cut, and then the last sound as well was just this low cut. And now I'll play all the melodies together so you guys can hear what this sounds like. Now moving on to the drums portion of the video, first starting off with the 808. We have two different patterns, but here's this first one. This one plays during the chorus. And as you guys can see here, I added this slide note. You can do this by double clicking on your MIDI note and then just clicking this little slide note icon and hitting accept. And you're going to want to include slide notes in your 808 patterns in these beats. It just kind of adds to the flowy, I guess, happy vibe. And yeah, in terms of mixing for the 808s, I do the same thing I always do, which is turning the velocity up, turning this little volume knob up here. Of course, you're going to want to have your envelope looking like this with your hold all the way up and then the other parameters all the way down. And then finally, last but not least, we've got a soft clip on the master to tie it all together. Now, for the 808 during the verse, it's a similar pattern but just a simpler version, and it sounds like this. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Now moving on to the hi-hats. It's a very simple hi-hat pattern. It just sounds like this. Just the 2-bar pattern which repeats. And another thing to note is I used a lot of sounds from Misagi's Cyberpunk kit in this beat, such as the 808 hi-hat and a couple of the other drum sounds. It's going to be a great kit for these type of beats. Also Ginseng's Trauma kit, of course. You can kind of use sounds from either of those, but these have great 808s, especially for these type of beats. Now moving on to the snare pattern, it's just simple, sounds like this. Just add this little variation at the end. I'll play with the velocity bit. Nothing too crazy. Now moving on to the open hats, we have this first open hat. It's kind of a triangle open hat, and I did pan this one to the left a bit. And then I have the second open hat to complement it, which is panned to the right, and this one's from Warren Hunter's drum kit. It sounds like this. Again, it's just a 2-bar pattern, very simple. And I kind of like doing this technique with my open hats, having 2 different open hats and panning them different directions so they kind of jump back and forth. It creates a pretty cool effect. And then, last but not least here, finally we have this snare roll, which sounds like this. And this just plays at the end of the chorus. It only plays 2 times throughout the beat. And this snare as well as from Warren Hunter's drum kit. And now I'll play all the drums together so you guys can hear what this sounds like. And finally, last thing I'll show you before we move on to the arrangement is going to be these effects. I just added a couple effects in this little section right before the chorus comes back in, where I cut the drums out to just add a little variation, some ear candy stuff, and I'll just show you what they sound like. These just make the drop hit harder, just kind of build the energy as we transition back into the chorus. And now I'll show you guys the full arrangement. So here's what the arrangement looks like. It's pretty simple arrangement. We just start off with a 16-bar chorus. I didn't feel like adding an intro. I didn't think this beat needed an intro. I just want to keep the energy up. So I decided to have it just go straight into the chorus right off the bat. And then it transitions into a nice 32-bar verse here, back to the chorus, and then it has a 16-bar outro where I just cut out the drums right here and then bring them back in for the last 8 bars. That's going to be it for today's video. I tried to improve the quality of this video compared to my other tutorials, so let me know if you think this is better or what you prefer, and also let me know what artist or what producer you want to see a tutorial on next. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.